Hi everyone, welcome back to Job One for All. In this video we are going to talk about the file class again, but now we are going to focus on how to work with directories. So let's go and create a new class, file test02, PSVM, and well, you know how to work with file. Let's call this file folder now file. Let me see what I will delete this folder here because I'm going to use the same name. So at this moment, when we pass the string to the constructor, we don't know if this is a file or if this is a folder. Right now it doesn't exist, but I want to create folder directory. And if you are familiar with Linux or any Unix system, you know how to create, and it's basically the same here with Java. File folder dot mkdir. And this is going to create, or if it already exists, it's not going to create, but we will have a reference to that folder. And then I'm going to bring here is folder created plus is folder created. So Control Shift F10. We have here the folder. If I try again, it will return false because the folder already exists. So basically that's how you create we can create folder. Now, how can we create files inside that folder? Basically there are two ways. Let's create a new file here. Let's call just a file. New file. What's the file we want to create inside there? Let's call file.txt. Now, this is a file. And to create a file, you know that we can call file.create new file. This is going to throw a checked exception, and we can either surround with try catch, but to keep things simple, I will just add to the method signature. Now this is going to return a boolean. Is file created? This boolean represents if this file was created or not. Now, what happens if I execute this now? So if I execute this now, it's going to create file.txt if we don't have anything in our root level, but we do have, so you're going to see false because the file.txt already exists. Let me delete this one. So I want to create the file.txt inside the folder. We have two options. One, copy the absolute path, right click and copy absolute path, and you add it here, and then \\/ if you are on Windows, or basically just / if you are on Unix. So I'm creating this file.txt inside this folder, inside this path. So if I execute now, you will see inside the folder the file.txt. This is one way. I'm going to delete the file. The second way is using another file to represent the directory. So let me delete this one. Basically, you already know where that folder is. Why? Because you have a file object with a reference to that folder. That's the file folder. So you can get this file folder and pass here in the first argument, and then you have the file.txt. So now you are telling to create a new file inside this directory, and the name of the file should be file.txt. So I don't have any file. If I execute now, you will get Ctrl Shift F10 the file.txt inside the folder. Pretty cool, huh? And how can we rename our file? Now, renaming files is interesting. Basically, you can create another file renamed new file. Now, what I want the name of the file to be file_renamed.txt. So this is my destination, and I have to tell that my file should be renamed to this file renamed. So I'm telling that this file should be renamed to this object. Now this is going to return a boolean, is renamed, is file renamed, south. Now something interesting will happen here. Look what's going to happen. When I execute this, Ctrl+Shift F10, you noticed that the file was indeed renamed, but it was also removed from the folder. And why is that? Because the destination, the file object destination, is telling that the name should be file renamed. And where is this file renamed located? Remember, if you do not pass the directory, it will just put at the root level. So this is what happened. It renamed, it moved at the same time to the root level. So let me delete this one. What I want to do is I want this file renamed to be inside the same folder. So I'm going to pass this file folder as well. Ctrl+Shift F10. And now the folder was not created, the file was created, and the file was renamed. So basically, well, that's something else that you should know. Look what happens if I try to rename the directory, or if I try to execute this code again. Actually, let me try to execute this code again. Ctrl+Shift F10. Look, since the folder was already there, it was not created. But the file was created. Why? Because the file is called file.txt, and we didn't have. The only file that was there was this file underscore renamed. And then the file was not renamed. Why? Because there is already a file with the same name inside that directory. So basically, if I execute this again now, we should see false, false, false. Because it cannot create another file, there is one there, and it cannot rename because there is also another one there. So you have to be careful when you are renaming. And another one is how to rename directory. It's basically the same thing. You create a file. Let me call file folder renamed. And what's the name of the folder that I want to be now? Folder 2. And then file folder, rename it to file folder renamed. Folder renamed plus is folder renamed. Ctrl+Shift F10 and false, 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 but the folder was renamed. If I try again now, false, 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 actually true, because the folder didn't exist, so it created, and then it created a file. Inside this folder there was only one file, that was the file.txt. Of course the renamed worked, but the folder renamed, it didn't work. So if I execute again now, we should see false. The file was created because the rename was not there, and then false, false. And now if I execute again, I do have everything false, false, false. So you have to be very careful when you are handling files, and especially when you are deleting or renaming or creating directories and so on. Basically, that's everything you need to know. Let's continue with more topics in the next video. See you there. Bye.